Hello, welcome to another episode of Talking Rangers. Today is Monday, October 6th. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day so far today. This is episode 71 of the Talking Rangers podcast. Thank you, as always, for joining us. We are here. We have made it another season of New York Rangers hockey. The preseason is behind us, and the regular season, at the time you are listening to this on Monday, it's just a little over 24 hours away or so from beginning. Tuesday night, 8 p.m. MSG, Rangers, Penguins. Mike Sullivan's first game at the helm, and the New York Rangers will look to kick off the 25-26 season with a win against his former team. And then they'll face Buffalo, face Pittsburgh again, Capitals to open up the first week of the season. And we were talking about it off air, but this is a good time to get hockey back in the mix, because if you're a New York sports fan, both football teams lost on Sunday. Both football teams stink. You have the Yankees, who laid 2 duds in Toronto and face elimination on Tuesday. It's been a joke around New York sports, so good to get hockey back. Might regret saying that in a week if the Rangers get off to a slow start, but we'll see how it all plays out. Joe, how's it going?
I agree, man. It's been pretty pathetic as far as like the New York sports. Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, last year was pretty pathetic for the Rangers themselves, but we'll see. New culture installed. Mike Sullivan, like you said, they did a couple retooling. I don't know. I kind of have a bad feeling that it's going to be a lot of the same, but I guess you kind of, beginning of the season, you got to be pretty optimistic, but obviously, like I kind of said in the last episode, there's a ceiling to this team that like maybe second round, but it's always fun to watch sports, and I feel like the Rangers, unlike the Jets or like the Giants, they're not going to be eliminated in the first month, so you have to look forward for a couple months at least into December, but we'll see. They should be able to be a solid team this year. It's always fun beginning of the season, getting the season back, and hey, listen, no expectations, just don't be bad, be competitive. That's our expectations.
Yeah, I agree. Be competitive, be exciting. I think we've said that a lot here on the podcast, where last year's team was so boring. Last year's team it got to a point where they're kind of hard to root for, just very unlikable group. We all know what took place last season. Don't have that happen again, where you fall down in a game and you can't come back, or the team's just lifeless and performances just awful, bad hockey. Like, be exciting, come back in some games. Obviously win a decent amount of games, hopefully, and don't be out of it, hopefully, by December, January, be in the mix. I think they will be, and we'll see if they can compete for a wild card spot, compete for a playoff spot, and get back into the playoffs after, what took place last year and what has felt like a long off season, because it has been a very long off season with not even getting into just the first round. Yeah, I mean, I guess we could go in a couple different areas here with just roster stuff. I guess we kind of talked about this a little bit in Friday's episode about where this team's at with the roster, a lot of the moves that they made, and the preseason. Just, I guess, what are your big takeaways from the preseason? We can quickly dive into that and then really get into some stat predictions, just overall team predictions, and ultimately, what we think happens this year. But I guess the roster standpoint, how do you feel going into Tuesday night and the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the roster for the most part is kind of what people kind of expected. Like we kind of mentioned in the last episode, like Perot and even Othman. I think a lot of people kind of were expecting not to be on the team. Maybe a little bit less on Othman, but I think at the end of the day, it seems that like Sullivan's going to be more of a younger or an older guy that he's going to play, like the older guys. It doesn't seem like, I feel like he's got to win. So you're going to, maybe he's going to have a little bit of a short leash, even if like a guy like Laba doesn't play great right away, he might just get sent down. But, that's why you see guys like Shuri on the team, which is, it's whatever. I mean, I don't think he's going to be bad, but, you kind of have the same, like I mentioned last time, that fear that he'll be in the top 6, which is stupid. But I don't know. I mean, the roster is, like you said, pretty much what you thought it was going to be. Obviously, the goalies are the same. We knew that pretty much the seventh defenseman were all going to be on this team. I guess you could argue maybe it could have been Morrow over Robertson, but they're going with him. Like the roster it is what it is. It's a little concerning. I mean, if you look at it like through just like line by line, I mean, I guess we can kind of do that too. Like, I guess our first line is like the Trocheck line. Like, you think that line has a bounce back year? Like, it'd be Panarin, Trocheck, Lafreniere.
Lafreniere. Yeah, I mean, they all three of them need to be better, especially Trocheck and Lafreniere. After last season, Trocheck had a down year. I think you trust Trocheck to bounce back this season. Lafreniere
Lafreniere,
is
you
one of
think
the
he's on the hot seat because they
yeah, I
can
mean,
trade him. He's
yeah,
his no trade doesn't kick in until next year.
yeah, Lafreniere is one of the and we talked about a couple of like the bigger X factors, biggest question marks with this team if they can return to not really Lafreniere returning to form because he never really hit his full potential, it seems like, but at least being more of what we saw not last year, but the year before that, seeing more of that this year and even maybe a little bit better. If he can do that, it's a huge boost to this team, similar to like the way we talk about Adam Fox and getting back to form a bit where he has struggled. Lafreniere is kind of one of those bigger X factors. A lot of what that line is going to do is going to dictate if he plays well or not. Got the contract and just fell apart. So can he take what he did in 23-24 and what he did in the early part of last season and put that across the full 82 again? It's a big question. I think he'll be better than he was last year, but I don't know if I don't think he's ever going. I don't think he's going to be. I think he'll be all right. I think Trocheck will be all right, and Panarin's going to get his points like he always does, and I think he probably is on this team the whole year. I don't think they trade him. The line should be like it'll be solid. The bigger issue is the bottom six, really.
Yeah. Oh, the bottom
Like the
six.
top two lines you
Well,
trust. I mean,
yeah,
Cooley, Miller, and then
there's a Banajad.
Mika, assuming is that's the other line is you like Cooley, you like Miller. I mean, Sabanajed is what it is, but he's going to be up there. That's not going to change. Can he not? Can he be a little bit better? Maybe. Like, is it that hard to ask for him to not be as bad as he was last year?
I mean, he was pretty bad the
But
last 2 years, though. So
yeah, he's going in the wrong direction, and the contract is looking worse and worse as every day goes by. But it's really the bottom six. I mean, do you really have much faith in Taylor Radish, Parsonen?
I
Olava will
mean,
be
yeah. I
back when
mean,
he
I
has
guess
three
what are we
third
looking at
center.
for like the third line right now? It's like Radish, Laba, and
Lava and
are you going to go with Parsonen? Like we kind of mentioned last episode. Are you going to go with
yeah, Parson or Sheary
Connor
or
Sheary?
Berard, and then you have
I
yeah.
guess the fourth line, okay. I mean, like like Rempe, Edstrom, and Carrick's not like a terrible fourth line, but
No, it's not bad. It does its job.
more so the third line that's more concerning for me, just because like,
Yes.
are they going to score goals? I just don't know.
Yeah, I don't have much. The third line is very. A lot of that hinges on like what Laba looks like, too. Like if Laba is as good as he was in the preseason or somewhere close to that, that's pretty big. But
It's a lot of
how long
pressure
of a
though on a
leash are they going
rookie.
to give to him?
Yeah, like like I mentioned before, like he's trying to win games, and if he sees
Mm-hmm.
like a younger guy like Labo struggling a little, the leash is going to be very short. So
Yes. Yeah, and it's gonna be probably Parson, and that would end up taking over. They also have Brozinski as well, who can be in the mix or be thrown in the mix
did they
at any
do
point.
any like? I mean, I haven't really been on the Rangers Twitter today, but like, have they made an announcement of what the roster like is? Did
Not
they
yet. I
cut the
think
last guy?
tomorrow or that we're recording this Sunday night, but I think final cuts should be tomorrow or Monday.
So I wonder if Prozinski makes the team.
What would be him or Berard? Because
Because I'm reading it says so Brzezinski, Parson, and Rempe need to go through waivers to be signed to Hartford now. Oh, would require waivers. So Brzezinski, Parson, and Rempe can be sent down, I think it says. It says the final roster won't be likely revealed until tomorrow. So we'll see tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers, no Rangers on waivers. That means the remaining players who are under contract and would require waivers to be assigned to Hartford are now safe. Okay. I don't know what they're going to do. I mean, personally, I don't give a crap about Brzezinski, but I guess the Rangers are going to hold on to him.
Yeah, they like Brzezinski. Like he's hit his ceiling. You know what Brzezinski is. He should not be. If they make the playoffs, like he should not be in the mix
Yeah, no,
at
definitely
all,
not.
which was the problem last year. He would have been in the mix if they got there. He's a very borderline
Yeah. It
Hartford
just doesn't
NHL player.
I don't know. This just doesn't compute that. Why are you wasting a spot with him? But I
Yeah,
mean, it like I think like you kind of mentioned like so like the first line is whatever. The second line like we think they kind of have a bounce back year. We'll see. I mean, it's not like the Miller was bad and Cooley was good, but like it kind of stems on what Zibanejad is. We kind of both agree the third line isn't going to be good, and like the fourth line
no,
is whatever. So I don't. Like, if you just look up their lineup, it's not a Stanley Cup lineup.
no,
You know.
no.
So I mean, and then if you kind of like,
And in the defense, you haven't even talked about defensemen, but it's some areas that's even
I
worse
think
when
the
you look
defense
at like a
bad.
Susi and a Vakanainen,
Yeah, dude, I'm gonna say I think the
even
defense is gonna be
Schneider.
a lot, like pretty bad this year, like worse
Yes,
than people think. I mean, obviously Gavrikov looks solid. He's big.
yes,
He
and
looks
as
a
he
good
should.
defender. Um, doesn't look good. And can't his skating it has been bad. So like concern there. And then after that, what do you have? I mean, Schneider hasn't really been good through his whole career. Borgen is
Morgan's,
okay, but like, is he really
Susi,
good?
Stick,
Is he
and
more
Vakanainen.
third pair defenseman on a contending team? Probably. And then you go, yeah, like you said, Susi and Vakanainen are probably seventh defensemen
Yes,
on
on a really good
a
deep
playoff
playoff team.
team. Not even a contending team, on just a playoff team.
Yes,
I would not want any
and
of
your
those guys.
seventh defenseman in Robertson's not any good either.
He's an AHL player, yeah.
Yes, which I think Moreau will eventually take over. And we're going to see
Yeah.
him at some point this year. Um, but no, yeah, I mean the defense is a concern. The bottom six is. I mean, your fourth line shouldn't
It's not
be.
a terrible fourth line. It's a
It's not
solid
terrible.
fourth line.
And
Like, 'cause
at times
they
last year, the fourth line was the
weaknesses
only one
in with
scoring.
Ekstrom and Carrick being the more of the mainstay, and then I guess some games if you want to incorporate Rempe, you can do that. And then I don't know who else as of now what they're going to do. I mean, maybe Radish plays in the fourth line, and then they like Parson. I don't know. They're kind of rotating guys in. The only guy I don't want to see, like I said, is Brzezinski. But yeah, no, I think that the roster isn't great, but I just think they have the guys on their team that should be good enough to contend for that wild card spot.
Yeah, if the top six is playing at its best, it should be good enough to carry the load of a bad third line and a very average fourth line,
Yeah, and,
or maybe
and,
slightly below average fourth
and I'll
line.
say this kind of because the key to the season honestly might be Igor because he's
Yeah.
got so much pressure on him this year. Um, Obviously, contractually and money wise, he has no pressure because he's already getting paid. But in the grand scheme of hockey, like, dude, you're getting paid $11.5 million. You're expecting to go out there every night and give up 2 goals, 2 or 3 goals every night, the most. You have to keep the Rangers in every game. You got to steal games now because especially with the defensive core not being good, he's got to be in the like 9-15 plus. Like
Yep.
he has to be in the 920s. Honestly, if you're getting paid that money, you got to be in the 920s, which I don't think he will. Like I said, 2.5 goals a game is. I think that'll be solid enough for that. But like, you're paying him all this money, you like this team. I'd say they're in a horrible spot because their veterans have kind of aged out of their prime or just getting out, and don't really have any good young players that are kind of going into anything. They're more of
Oh,
a question mark. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
they don't have. Yeah, they don't have any young players that have like proven themselves
and
yet.
all their old players are getting paid so much money too. So it's like if they lose this year, it's pretty disappointing because you have no cap space and you're paying all these old guys a lot of money, and like it just doesn't make any sense. It's not like you're bad and you're young; you're going to be bad and old. and you have all these pretty bad
like last
contracts
year.
on the team. So it's a pretty big year for this team. It's a rough spot too, because like if they're bad, it's going to be a disaster because you're paying this, like all these players. But like if you're being realistic, like we've been saying, like this team cannot win a Stanley Cup. So like I don't know. Here's my question: what would you kind of consider a successful season?
I mean, they got to get back to the playoffs.
If they lose in the first round, you kind of look at it as like, oh, successful season.
I don't think so. I mean, that's what I think will happen, and we'll like fully do our prediction, like like our what we actually think, like how many points and stuff they have here in a little bit. But I mean, for like the expectations of this group, get to the playoffs, win around.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can
and,
kind
and
of.
and more so too, like can we see throughout the year, and this isn't so much wins and losses and points, but can we see throughout the year the young guys get better? Like when Berard plays, does he look good? Does Laba look good? When Perot eventually comes up, does he look good? Heck, even Moreau, like if he is, I mean, he's going to probably be the seventh defenseman, but if he gets a stretch this season where he's consistently playing, whether it's just the defense sucks and they bring him in or he's injury, whatever, like, can he look good and promising? The young guys, that's the biggest thing. Can you see enough out of the young guys? Even Edstrom to a certain extent, like he's been solid. If he continues to be like a nice, solid fourth line player for this team, not that
Yeah, he could maybe
Edstrom's,
develop. He could maybe develop into like a third line player.
yeah, he's
He
not
could.
the going to be
He's
the
a good enough
core of this
skater.
team moving
Yeah,
forward, but it's still positive. And then you look at Will Cooley, like he can continue to really kind of take over one of the faces of this team right now. I mean, he's definitely heading in that direction of being one of the top like players on this team. I mean, you could tell by just the way the fan base is with Cooley as well. I mean, his jersey's sold out. Like he is one of the faster growing, more popular, likable players, the way he plays his style of play on this team. So continuing to see him produce as still a young player, although more established young player than, Berard or any of these other guys. So that to me is a success if you could see growth out of the young guys more so than just the team. But from the team aspect, you have to make the playoffs. I mean, you talk about the contracts, you talk about the veterans, how this team is like top heavy with the top six. If they're playing at their best, there's no excuse for this team not to make the playoffs. And we talk about the Metropolitan a lot being very questionable. I mean, outside of Carolina, you can kind of look at this division playing out in a lot of different ways. And even I guess the Devils as well, but like, oh, is the Capitals going to be as good as last year? No. Um, like a team like the Islanders, and I mean the Blue Jackets could be sneaky. There's somebody to keep an eye on. The Flyers, like Penguins, those teams you don't expect much from. So
I feel like people say that every year about the Blue Jackets. Like, oh, like this is their
yeah,
year to
them and
kind
the
of break out.
Sabres.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess it was the Canadians and Senators. That was for a while. They were saying that, and I guess they kind of both
and they kind of
broke out last
last
year.
year. hmm The Red Wings too. Every year, this is our
That
year,
yeah, them
and
too.
they keep missing the playoffs.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Do you think?
that's another part of it too.
Do you think the power play kind of makes a resurgent this year, like or like kind of like resurrected, where like they were pretty garbage last year? Like,
Yeah,
do you think they kind of bounce back? Do you kind of see it as like a full bounce back for everyone? I mean, like if you want, we can get into I guess individual players and like kind of what our expectations are for them. But like, I feel like the
mhm.
power play was kind of a driving force for this team. When they went on these runs, and it just was so horrendously bad the last. I don't know.
Last year they were
Outside of the
awful
first
at
month,
power play.
maybe. Yeah, maybe outside the first month.
Yeah, I
I was
mean the first month, outside of the first month, they were pretty much bad in everything.
yeah.
Last year, once they lost that game in Van or
Yeah, like the
the
November
Flames,
run really
yeah,
killed the season.
the November run where they had the Oilers, that bad Oilers loss, the Flyers lost on Black Friday, like everything just went off the rails after that. Yeah, I think the power play can't be any worse. Last
Yeah.
year was awful, and it kind of showed how much this team was relying on the power play because they were terrible and the power play was terrible. But
No,
I
I know.
mean,
I agree.
the Rangers are always relying on the power play. So who are we kidding to say that they could be a good 5-on-5 team this year?
Power play merchants, right?
Yeah,
I
power
don't
play
know.
merchants.
You think? Here's a question. Maybe it's more of a long term one, but like, you see Sullivan lasting more than 3 years?
More than 3?
Yeah.
I don't think it's a guarantee. I think he definitely could last 3, but beyond that, because let's say this. Let's say they make the playoffs this year and lose in the first round. Next year, what? Make the playoffs again? Maybe win a round?
Yeah.
And then, like if they win one round in 3 years, he's probably gone. Like, they're probably going to miss the playoffs maybe once, right? If like
Yeah.
the young guys don't develop, they're probably going to miss the playoffs next year potentially.
I mean,
Maybe this
yeah.
year
It just depends on what they do as far as like
in the
Panarin.
off
Like,
season and
is he
stuff.
going
And
to come
Panarin, yeah, if
back?
Panarin's not back, like if Panarin's not back and the young guys aren't playing well, and all these other veterans are a year older, you're probably not making the playoffs next year, and the defense core still stinks. Then yeah, you're probably not making the playoffs. So like, if he makes the playoffs this year, and then let's say misses the playoffs next year, and then would like makes the playoffs in year 3 and wins like one playoff round in 3 years, he's probably gone. And then what? Do you go on to that point the full on? I mean, that's so far down the
The
road.
rebuild? Yeah.
If I'm being honest, he's probably gone.
Yeah.
He's going to be another. We're going to look back on it. And I don't want this to be a negative season preview show because I am genuinely excited for the season. And maybe it's because we haven't had hockey in so long, April. So we're just starving for it. And I'm sure Tuesday night, there might be points in that game where it's,
We're back. We're back, but not in the
yeah,
good
we're
way.
back. Yeah, please take me back to the off season when this team wasn't on the TV.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably 3 years. I don't know. I don't have very high expectations. I think we're in the same boat. What about you? You think he's last year longer than that?
Uh, Probably not. I'd probably say this team is not as good as people think, and they'll maybe go through hot stretches this year, but inevitably, I think, they're going to be what they are, mid-tier team, and I don't think that's going to be good enough where it seems like it could just be a whole chain reaction of everyone kind of getting fired.
Yeah,
But
Drury.
I would say that this team this year will make the playoffs. I do kind of believe that they will, but it just depends. Like it's such a the Rangers are such like if you just even like not like obviously we're a Rangers podcast, but like if you just look through like an NHL fan perspective, they're a very hard team to judge because you don't know what they're going to be. They're
Yeah,
a very like wild card team where it's like they could win the division
and
or they could like contend for the first overall pick. So
yeah, yeah, you're right. And we
yeah,
also not only have we brought in or talked about the veteran guys and some of these guys having bounce back seasons, and two kind of reshaping this core a little bit with kind of a new leadership in the locker room. That impact as well could be maybe bigger than some expect, but there is also the possibility of Sullivan legitimately elevating this team as well. There is that possibility of this new staff just getting significantly more out of this group than previous, more so Laviolette most recently, but even Gallant with some of these players that they got out of these guys. So there is that reality too when you throw into how unpredictable this group is. Veterans could
yeah,
bounce back, a little bit of a reshaping of the core, kind of new locker room vibe in a way around this team because last year was a dead locker room. It was, toxic essentially with all the outside noise, all that stuff. Trouba, all that, the Gaudreau stuff going back to the offseason. It was a soft room, but there's also the reality of like actually elevating players and getting more out of these guys.
yeah,
And then there's the case too of this team's just not good. It's older veterans, young guys don't play well, third line stinks, defense isn't very good, and they're an 80-point team again, and they missed the playoffs, which, like you said, they're very unpredictable. Um, yeah, hopefully they could surprise us. Low
I mean they've had many.
expectations,
They've had a lot of not
surprises.
great surprises last year. So
No,
I mean like I guess we can kind of, if you want to get into like certain players and like what you're
Yeah.
expecting out of them, like I don't know, where do you? I guess we can start with forward wise, like a Panarin. What do we kind of like? What's your kind of expectations this year for Panarin? Like, you think A, is he going to make the whole year through the team? B, is he going to resign? And C, like, what do you kind of see out of him?
I think he'll be with the team the whole year
Yeah,
because I don't think
regardless.
they're going to be out of it at the and I don't think they'll extend him. If they're out of it, the reason I see him with the whole team, I don't think they're going to be out of it by the deadline. Um, I don't think they'll be that bad. Like I said, I think they'll actually make the playoffs. For like stat wise, what I think he can do, I mean, he's obviously not going to be 2023, 2024 Panarin. I think he will be somewhere in the 87 to like 95 range again, like 91, 92 points. I could see him I mean, last year from an assists perspective, he was down. I could see him being up again. I think he was 52 assists last year, which was one of the lower marks of his career, one of the lower marks as a Ranger. I think only
Yeah,
other than the 56 game COVID season. So I could see that being up. Goals, I mean, he did have, I think, the second highest career goals. He had 37. He was just shy of 40. Maybe a little bit less goals, but more assists. I think he'll be like 90, 91 points. I think he'll get over 90 again. And I think he will be with the team because I don't think they're going to be out of it. And I don't think I don't think he's going to get extended during the season or even before Tuesday.
yeah, no, I agree. I think
He's going to be Panarin. He's been
he'll be
consistent.
between
It's
80
just
and it'll be like an 80 and 90 point player.
yeah.
And yeah,
And if they make the playoffs, he probably won't do anything.
probably or definitely.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Um, he's one of the guys you can very kind of easy to expect what Panarin's going to do.
Yeah, I mean
Now,
he's a pretty safe player to kind of predict.
yeah, I guess unfortunately, easy player to predict for the wrong reasons is probably Mika.
Oh my god.
Does he continue? I say just trending on, or do you want to stick with that line
We can
and go
we
trend
don't
check?
we probably don't have to go through all the players, but we can kind of like just go through the
Yeah,
bigger ones. So but yeah,
bigger
like
ones. Yeah, like the
I'd say
top six.
yeah, I'll say this about Mika. Like I'm expecting
He stinks.
20 goals, 50 assists maybe.
He hits
Like
20.
I think he'll score like more points this year, but he's not going to be the player that you're going to like we think he can get back to ever. Like this is never going to happen. Like he's going to be like maybe score 70 points. Maybe like 20, 45 closer. Like he'll be over 60 points, but he's not going to
What
score a
if
lot of goals. He doesn't shoot the puck
mhm,
anymore. He's not going to
mhm.
score on the power play. He's not going to drive the play at 5-on-5. So you're just
He's gonna miss the net
you
a lot?
kind of have to hope that playing wing the whole year kind of revamps his game. But I don't really know if it will. Not no expectations are very high for me from him. I feel like I'm being a little over. I'm kind of giving him too much credit, saying that he might score like 65, 70 points. We'll see though. I'm not very optimistic or high on him, and I kind of just think his game is fading.
Yeah, 32 years old. He'll be 33 in April. He's getting up there. What about this though? What do you ever think of like the reverse Mika revenge tour? Like they got rid of Kreider, now he's just gonna go off for 90 points. Like instead of being sulking in his sorrows, he just
Yeah,
says to himself, "You know what? I'm just gonna go off in honor of Kreider."
and out of Chris Kreider,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe
Um,
I don't have any
I
faith
don't
in
need
him.
my best friend here. I'm gonna go off, prove the Rangers wrong.
Yeah, maybe if he goes off, we just blame Kreider for how bad he was the last
Yeah.
couple of years.
Um, I'm. I think he'll have 20 goals, even though he barely had that last year. I think he'll be. I'm very low on Mika. I mean, I think he'll probably be similar to where he was. I think he'll probably be like 65 points, maybe 64 points. He might have two or three more goals than he did last year. Maybe he gets to like 23 goals and I don't know, 40 assists or 43 assists or something like that.
Yeah. No, I mean,
But he's
we
he's going to be low 20s, mid 40s assists,
yeah,
mid to low 40s assists. He's going to be in the low 60s in points, His defense has significantly fallen off. His game's just trending in the wrong direction. I mean, he's in the last 3 years, the points have dropped 91, 72 to 62. The goals, I mean, he hasn't had a 30 back-to-back years of not having 30 goals. The days of him being a 30-goal scorer are long gone.
Yeah,
So
no,
low expectations.
We will never see that again.
No. We probably won't even see him touch 70 again.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, I'd probably say, but he might, maybe, I think, just maybe if he gets that like first year bump of a new
Mika
system,
March comes back,
coach, and maybe gets like 70 points, I guess like 20 or 50.
Yeah.
But I'm not very. I mean, I could also see him getting like 15 goals, 25 assists for 40 points. I can see that. But he plays on the power play, and if the power play is a little bit better, he'll probably score, like I said, 60, 70 points. But I don't know, dude. It's just frustrating, and he's here
that's
for the next like 5-6 years.
a good question. He had 7 power play goals last year. Does he have double digits?
No. He doesn't shoot the puck. You can't score if you don't shoot.
Yeah, I think he's probably under that too. That's crazy. He's last time before last season was his first year with the Rangers where he had under double digit power play goals. And last year at 7.
He just doesn't look to shoot anymore. He's a passive player, and he's soft, and he's not going to be a player that's going to go out, going to get into the dirty parts of the rink, going to get into the corners,
very soft.
They're going to get gritty goals. He's only going to get the goals that are on a platter for him, and those come by less when you're not playing well at 5-5 because he doesn't shoot the puck on the power play. So, maybe, I mean, and he doesn't have Carter this year for the penalty kill to get him some shorthanded chances. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, he doesn't have the shorthanded goals there. Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be another bad year. This is just where he's trending. Very soft, like you said. I'm very over Mika at this point. I guess we could go to a positive one. JT Miller.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting decent year out of him in first year as a captain. So he's got a lot of pressure too because of that kind of stature. But I don't know. I'm thinking probably around a point a game. I think you're gonna get what you get out of him. And I feel like he's a pretty easy player to kind of like form expectations of. Like he's gonna be gritty. He's gonna play hard. He's gonna hit. He's gonna be in your face, and he's gonna bury probably 30 goals maybe. I could see maybe like 30, 55, being around like an 85-point player. Again, this is the expectation that scoring-wise, this team bounces back. But you never know. They could not bounce back, but he's a kind of a player I'm not really worried about. And I think as long as he stays healthy, he's going to be the leader, the driver of the team. I'm excited about that, to see a full year of JT Miller. So I think expectations for him are pretty high this year for me.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to a full year of JT Miller as well. I'm looking forward to just the way he plays, watching that for hopefully all 82, 81, 80 maybe, whatever. Yeah, I mean, when he came over last year, he was excellent. 13 goals, 22 assists, 35 points. You kind of, stretch that across 82 games, and you're in that 85 to 87 point range. I agree. I think prior to last year, he had 3 straight 30-goal seasons with Vancouver. Last year, had 22 combined. But finished last season in 72 games with 70 points, 22 goals, 48 assists. So I think you're looking at 30 to 55. Maybe he reaches like high 80s and gets like, I don't know, 33 goals and like 55 assists, and maybe gets like 88 or 89 just to tick under 90. I don't think he'll hit 90, but I think in that 85 to probably peak like 87 range is good as the captain for the team. I think he is probably most like trustworthy Rangers. Probably Cooley, JT Miller. For the regular season, Panarin, like what you're going to get. In terms of you're confident what you're going to get out of him this year in a good way.
Yeah.
I guess Panarin and Trocheck.
Trocheck, I'm expecting to kind of have he'll be better this year. Like I think you said that before, earlier in the when you were mentioning him. He'll be better. He'll have a better year. I'm confident in that.
Yeah. I guess we could segue into Trocheck for that. he doesn't seem like the type of player to kind of let last year carry into this season. Um, 59 points, which was down from the 77 he had. So is he back over 70?
Mm,
I think he's
that
probably
I
in like
don't
this.
know. I mean,
I
because
think he's probably in
he's
like the
never been.
65
I think
range.
that was probably a career year.
Yeah.
No, I would say 35 or like 30 goals, 35 assists, 65 points. Like he'll be in
Yeah.
the 60s. He's not gonna really, he's not a point game player. He's a kind of a hard nosed guy. Can kill penalties, can win face offs for you, can play, you know, decent defense. I mean, obviously he's got two guys on his line that don't know how to play defense, so that kind of hurts him a little. But again, north south player, kind of like JT Miller, like a rigid, tough kid or tough guy that's going to go in, battle in the corners, and give that maximum effort. So I'm not really worried about him. I don't really think his points are too big of a concern for me. Like I think I'd be
More
pretty.
just his
I think he's
style of
got.
play.
I'm hoping for 60 plus from him,
Yeah.
and then the intangibles that he comes with, like the hardworking, good face-off guy, can play defense. Obviously, you're going to be a first-line center, which I don't really know if he's a first-line center on a championship team, but we shall see.
Probably not a championship team.
That's what I'm just saying in general. Like, like, is he a first-line center on our team? Yes, but like for a playoff
Yeah.
team, probably not.
No. Um, yeah, I think he's in that range. I mean, his first year with the Rangers, he had 64. So right back to that 23-24 was just a career year and what was
Yeah,
a monster season for the Rangers, presidents, all that stuff. Um, last year was a down year and what was a everything that could go wrong did go wrong type of season. So he'll get back to the norm. And like you said, more so, not even just the points, what he does with the points, but more so, like you said, the defense and the hardworking style of play, all things that this Rangers team needs more of, and he's able to bring it. Um, I guess the final two would be Cooley, Lafreniere. Cooley, I expect a monster season.
yeah.
He had what 45 last year.
I think he could flirt with 30 goals.
Yes, I think he could, and there's a real chance Cooley's 60 points potentially.
Like 30-30.
Yeah, because he
It's
had
it,
I
it
think he
kind
had
of it's probably
25
dependent
assists
more
last
so
year,
on,
20
on his
goals.
like power play time, but yeah, I could see that
Mm-hmm.
definitely happening.
Yeah, I agree. I think he could be high 20s goals and be right around 30 assists, which
He
would
had
put him high
25 goals
50s, low
last year, right?
60s.
Or did he have 20 goals?
20 goals, 25
25
assists
assists, yeah.
last year. And similar to just the physicality he brings, probably going to lead the team in hits. I
Yeah,
think he
I
did
mean,
last year.
he's going to be all over the ice. And
Yeah.
he's like JT Miller and Trocheck. Like your expectations for him are pretty much, what you're going to get. Like he's going
Yeah.
to work hard. He's going to be physical. He's going to be on the forecheck. He's going to play good defense. Hopefully Mika doesn't rub off on him because that would kind of be a little bit of a disaster. But I'm excited. I think he's a player that his expectations are very high this year.
Yes. I agree. I think this is a big breakout year for Cooley. I guess just out of the final top six would be Lafreniere. I think he's middle in between 23, 24 and last year.
Yeah.
I don't think he hits.
He's not going to be as
Like, I
bad.
don't.
There's no way.
No,
There's no chance he's as bad.
no. I don't think he'll be as bad. I think he'll have over 20 goals.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be under 20. I think he'll be probably right at like 20 goals and like 30 assists.
Yeah, like 50
Right at like
points.
50 points.
Yeah.
Um,
He's
I
never
don't
going to
think
be
he's
the
going to.
player that he was drafted to.
No.
I'll say this. He's probably a third line winger. He's not, he shouldn't be in the top six, but they're going to put him in the top six just because where he was drafted. I'm kind
Mm-hmm.
of done with him, but I really don't like his effort too. I think he gives up on a
Yes,
lot
his
of
effort
plays
last year was
defensively.
alarming.
Yeah.
He was taken after Panarin.
No back checking. It's just bad. It's bad hockey. And he kind of, I mean, he took a lot of the heat because, like I said, it's draft status, but I'm not expecting any of a increased statistical season like that big of an improvement. I
No.
think, like you said, like he's going to be like 55 points, 50 around there. Like you just got to hope that he plays better, and then maybe stats will come with that. But I don't know. It depends if he plays power play, which I don't know. I don't know what the power play is going to look like right now because if you've had the injuries of Panarin and Miller during the preseason, so we don't really know what it's going to look like. I assume they're probably just going to keep it the same, where it's Miller, Trocheck, Panarin, Zibanejad, Fox. But I guess you never know if
Yeah.
Lafreniere can kind of get inserted into that. Maybe kind of starts developing more of a scoring touch, but my expectations are pretty low. Like him and Zibanejad, I kind of just clumped together where I don't really have any expectations of anything crazy. Just we're expecting minor improvements. We're just like I feel like for everyone, we're expecting them to be better than they were last year. So
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think hopefully nobody's really worse than they were last year.
yeah,
Um but at the same time being better than they were last year is also not saying much,
yeah, yeah, 100%.
especially when you talk about like a guy like Mika who he might be a couple like 2-3 goals better and that's probably it like from a points standpoint, but defensively and just over power play like I think he is who he is. But yeah, I think Lafreniere will be better than last year. 50 points. He's not going to be high 50s, but low 50s.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know, 20 goals. Yeah, 30 assists. Maybe he gets like 23 goals, 24 goals, maybe on like a really good year. If he gets more power play time, can he be like a 25 goal scorer? I mean, had 28 goals in 23, 24. Give him, if he does play the power play, can he have maybe a big increase there? And you're talking more high 50s potentially, but I think he is who he is as the former number one pick that also didn't develop for this team. So
I don't know, bro. It's just like I said, it's the same thing every year. People kind of get high on some of these guys, and they just really don't perform. I don't know. I mean, I guess we kind of went over the forwards. Obviously, the expectations are pretty much what they are for the fourth. Like we don't really know what the top six, bottom six is going to be really. So like, I feel like we can
yeah,
kind of just like we we pretty much know what we're going to get out of those players at this
yeah,
point. Like we just don't know what the exact kind of combinations are going to be. But like we kind of just mentioned, like overall, like the bottom six is going to be great. Like the fourth
no,
line is going to be
it's
okay.
gonna be the weakness of this team.
We don't really know what the third line is, and then I guess defensively, we don't really talk about that too much. But like, I personally don't think they're going to be great. I guess Fox, we can kind of go into him. Like, I don't see him having a good year. I think this is gonna be the year, like make or break for him, kind of like Lafreniere, where like if he doesn't respond, and get back to that Norris level type of defenseman, the noise is gonna be loud, and he's gonna have a lot of problems because he's not going to be playing well. He's going to get paid a lot of money. It's just his
Especially if the
skating.
power play's
Yeah,
terrible against you, the noise is only gonna get
yeah,
louder.
skating is bad. He's not going to be good defensively this year. Maybe he kind of saves it with his performance, like you said, on the power play, but very
And just
concerning for him.
his IQ saves him sometimes.
He's just not a good skater, and,
No.
and, and he's not big. So I just don't have a lot of high hopes for him. I think he's going to probably regress even more. I mean, obviously, like we kind of went over like Gravikov. We don't really know too much about him. You just got to hope that he's kind of like the stay-at-home defenseman that can help Fox. And then the other defensemen, we don't like. They are what they are. I mean,
Yeah.
the expectations are pretty on point for a lot of them. Like, I mean, Schneider, he is what he is. Borgen, he is what he is. Vakanainen and Susi, like, they're not NHL players, really. Like, maybe they're, like we said, those extra defensemen, like your seventh, eighth defenseman. But, I mean, for the Rangers, the defense, of course, very bad. They're going to have a terrible season defensively. I do think they can overcome that, like, with Igor, if he kind of plays a little bit better than last year. I mean, I guess we can kind of transition that to Igor. Like,
Yeah.
are you expecting a lot of out of Igor this year? I mean, like I mentioned before, I mean, it's a big year for him. He's got pressure with that contract. Like, is he going to kind of carry them into the playoffs? Like, what do you kind of see out of Igor?
Part of me does think he actually has a big year.
Yeah.
I could see him being back to the Vesna. I mean, he's gonna have to have a huge year. And the pressure, like you said, like if this team, we both think they're gonna make the playoffs. If they're gonna make the playoffs, Igor's probably at Vesna level
Yeah.
because the defense isn't good. he's probably standing on his head most of the games. And how much is this team going to be able to score to in front of him? Like outside of the top six, how much scoring you're actually going to get from the bottom six? How much offense are you going to get from those guys, especially the third line, fourth line? Not really. That's not really the role, but the third line specifically. I do think Igor's actually going to have a very big year.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
Probably,
Should have a bounce back season.
yeah. Probably like a 9-10, 9-15, somewhere around there save percentage.
Yeah, like how I mentioned before, like 2.5 goals a game.
Yeah. Something like that. And what, 5 shutout? He had 6 shutouts last year, which was actually the most of his career, tied for most.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. He's a very he's a player that, pretty divisive where there's a lot of people that are like pro Igor, like he deserves the money, and then there's people like kind of like me where like I don't think you pay a goalie that much money on a team like this. But we'll see. I mean, he's got to win a cup for that contract to be to be a good contract because he's going into his early 30s, and like I said, this team is not in a good spot as far as the age and the contracts, and the core. But I don't know. We could see this team kind of get like resurrected by Mike Sullivan, and this team makes the playoffs and goes on a run, and who knows? But I don't know. I just don't think that we have the core in place to really do that. And like it's a weird feeling where you don't have a lot of young guys in the lineup, and a lot of the younger guys are kind of aging out of their like kind of period of what are you? And like we know what Lafreniere is, we know what Schneider is, and I guess kind of cool in that where we can still have hope for him, but a lot of these guys are old and they've been in the league for a while now, and they can't win. So like it's hard. I'm not trying to be negative, but if you kind of look at the future in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of frustrating. But if you just take it through a shorter lens and more of like a micro look at this team, like just for this season, I think they make the playoffs. I think I honestly think they finish third in the division behind the Devils and the Hurricanes.
Yes. I agree. I think they're like 94 points or so. Get into probably the second wild card, make the playoffs.
You think wild card?
Actually,
I think they sneak. I don't think the Metro is very good. I think they finish in the top 3.
Yeah, they probably. Yeah, you're probably right. Actually,
the regression from the Capitals, I think, is going to be pretty substantial.
Yes, I think they could finish third.
I think the kind of teams in the Atlantic are rising up. So if they don't finish in the top 3, I don't know if they make the playoffs then, because Tampa Bay, I think, is the second best team in the league. Florida's the best team, right? So that's a 1 and 2. The Maple Leafs lost, obviously Marner, so they're probably going to take a step back. But I still think they finished third in their division. And then you go into the 2 spots. I think the Senators are going to be there again. I think the Canadiens are going to be up there again. The Red Wings probably will be contending for that spot. The Blue Jackets will be contending for that spot. And the Capitals will be contending. So you have all those teams in for the wild card spot. And I think those Atlantic teams that are just outside of that top 3 are all better than the Rangers. So the path of the playoffs, I think, is going to be through the division, finishing in the top 3, which I think they will.
Yeah. I think Capitals are going to regress big time as well.
Yeah. They all had like career years, and that's just not sustainable.
With like 94 points, probably.
Yeah, they'll still be close. Like, then we're not saying that they're not going to make the playoffs, but like I don't think they're going to.
No, I'm saying the Rangers, 94 points.
Oh yeah, the Rangers. I think maybe a little bit more. I think you can maybe they might be able to touch like 98. I think I'm going to say 98 points is my prediction. I think the 98 will be good enough to finish third in the Metro. Yes. I don't think the Metro is good. I think the Metro is the worst division in the league.
Yeah, I mean and the Rangers might be part of that if they really suck.
I think the Pacific is not great, but then you have the Oilers there, which kind of just completely
Vegas.
Anything, any depth or any like kind of back end bad teams. Like the Metro has terrible teams. Like you can say, oh well, the Ducks aren't good, the Sharks aren't good, the Kraken aren't good, but like so are the Penguins. They're terrible. The Islanders aren't good. The Flyers aren't good, and we don't have a team like the Oilers in our division. I mean, yeah, the Hurricanes have been good for years, but they're not a contending team. They completely fall short every year, and they can't get through. Where the Oilers haven't won the Stanley Cup, but they're still probably the second best team in the league. and probably
Yeah.
are they're probably going to be the cup. I think they're probably the favorites to win the cup, just because they have such an easy path to the finals.
Yeah.
Where like the
Yeah.
Panthers might be the favorites, but they have the injuries and they have to play like the Maple
They'll all
Leafs.
be ready to
They,
go though
they
for
have
the
to play the Maple
postseason.
Leafs. They have to play the
Yeah,
Lightning, and then I mean even I don't think they're good, but it's still like the Hurricanes maybe give them a better fight this year. So, but the division's weak. The point of it is the division's weak. They should be able to finish in the top three. That's kind of my expectation. I think they get in, and then you play the Devils in the first round probably, and they probably lose again to the Devils in the first round. So
yeah. I think
I,
they'll make the playoffs, lose in 5 first round.
yeah, but we kind of both said that if you win that first round, that's pretty successful season. But I think you have to add on that a lot of players kind of make strides in the positive direction as
Yes.
far as the younger guys. Like Lafreniere comes kind of back, and
Hmm.
you get more of an Igor obviously this year, and then maybe Fox looks better, and Schneider looks better, and then you kind of throw in the younger guys like Perot if he comes up and looks good, and Laba kind of takes it that
Hmm.
really
Berard.
develops all through the season. Berard, and then Cooley too. So you just kind of like that's kind of the goal is to kind of make the playoffs and have the younger guys excel and start building off a good season.
Yes. And hopefully have those younger guys play big roles in this team making the playoffs as well.
Yeah, not just to sit
Not
back and have
yeah,
the
and
power
just
play and
watch the
Panarin kind of try to carry the team into the playoffs,
yeah, and
and
watch the
then
veterans just
yeah,
carry the load.
yeah
Have these young guys be a
they need
significant
to
piece.
establish a couple things: a culture. They need to establish a core. Those are the two
Yep.
things. There's two C's: culture and core. They
Yep.
need to make sure that they get these young guys going, and then they can kind of sustain a future. Because if they don't,
Mhm.
then this team is going to be maybe the worst in the league in like 3 years.
Yeah.
When these guys are old, on bad contracts, and you have nothing, and you're barren of young talent. So
Yep. Yeah. Alrighty. You want to dive into first set of goal picks for the 2025 season?
yeah, so wait, what are we doing? The first 4 games?
Yeah, we could do first 4 games. We'll probably have our next episode out Monday, since they play the back-to-back over the weekend. So first 4 games, Pittsburgh, you won it, so you could have the honors.
All right, first game of the season. I'll go. I'll go with. We'll keep it easy. I'll go with. I'll go with JT Miller. Keep it
JT Miller.
simple. Keep it simple.
All right.
Yeah.
I was gonna go with 2 players. JT Miller was my first choice, so I'll go Panarin.
Panarin, the bread man.
Yes.
All right. All right. So you're gonna go Panarin Miller, or that was
No,
just your
I've
first.
just Panarin for Pittsburgh. If you
Okay.
picked
Okay.
somebody else, I was gonna take Miller,
Gotcha.
but I'll take Panarin. But I like JT Miller captaincy, first game goal.
All right. Yeah. I like that too. But that's my pick though. But then
Yes.
you got Panarin.
Yeah. All right. Buffalo. I guess I'll go. We can go every other.
Yeah.
Buffalo. Screw it. I'm gonna go back to back. I'm gonna go Panarin against Buffalo too.
Double dip. Panarin. All right. I
Yes.
like that.
I'm gonna little. He's got to score against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh and Buffalo are gonna stink this year. He's got to score in one of these games.
He is a merchant of bad teams.
Yes.
All right. I'll follow that up. I'll go with. We'll go with Will Cooley. Will Cooley's gonna bear
Will
one.
Cooley.
Yeah.
All right. You
And
can.
then
Yeah.
and then
Pittsburgh.
what's the
Next
other
Pittsburgh
game?
game.
The other Pittsburgh
Next.
game.
Second Pittsburgh game. Yeah.
Seems like a
In Pittsburgh.
seems like a Vincent Trocheck game at home. In his like home like town or home like he's from Pittsburgh area. So I'll go with Trocheck. So I got what Miller, Cooley, Trocheck.
All right. I got Panarin. Pittsburgh on the road. Connor Sheary revenge game. No. Too early in the season for those
This
type
hard.
of picks.
Yeah. I think we safe. We stayed
Uh,
pretty safe, right?
I'll go. I'll go Cooley against Pittsburgh.
All right.
And then for the Capitals game, give me Lafreniere.
That's on the road, right? That game?
Home.
Oh, that's a home game. So they go
Yeah.
home Pittsburgh, at Sabres
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, and then home. All right. I will go.
Yeah. Home Pittsburgh. Yeah. At Buffalo, at Pittsburgh, and then home, Capitals, Oilers, and then a couple road games after that.
All right. So for the Capitals game, I will go. We will throw. I'll throw because the problem is I don't really know what the third line is going to be. So I can say someone right now that is not going to play. So I'm not going to go. I was going to throw someone like Laba or like Parson in just to kind of spice it up. But like I don't know if they're not going to
Yeah.
play. So I'll keep it simple too. I'll say we'll go with Adam Fox. I'll throw in a
Adam Fox.
defenseman. Yeah.
I was thinking Fox. He
We'll get Fox.
usually, I feel like in those Pittsburgh or those Capitals road games in the afternoon, like he always scores.
Yeah. Wait. No. I changed my mind. I'll do this because like this guy won't be on my list very long. Well, I can still choose him. I'm changing it. I'll go Zibanejad.
All right.
Well, he's not banned yet. I banned him last
Not
year.
banned yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going.
Dude, remember last year? Oh my
Yeah.
God. The first two, at the end of the season with the goal picks, we were picking like the same three guys.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Miller,
Miller.
Trocheck. No. Miller, Cooley, Trocheck, Zibanejad.
Miller, Cooley, Trocheck, Zibanejad.
Yeah.
I'll go Panarin, Cooley, Lafreniere.
You know, I'm gonna write this down just so I can remember it. So you said Panarin, Cooley, Laugh. I'm going
Yep.
Miller, Cooley, Trocheck, Mika. All right.
Yes.
So
And yes, that's it. First, because then the Oilers game and the second set of games we'll do next Monday. So
yeah,
that's it. Another episode in the books. Let's go Rangers. Start out 3-0. Why don't you? I mean, they can. It's very possible.
The New York team needs to win a game this week.
Yeah.
Might as well be.
I know the Penguins and Sabres are not very good, but I think it would be great to start out 3-0. And you know what? Maybe start out 4-0. Start out 4-0 and have us come on this podcast next week talking about
we're going to the finals. Yeah,
we're going to the finals. We're never losing another game. 82-0. You know, already got the playoff tickets all ready to roll. So that'll do it. Enjoy Rangers hockey. It is back, and we will talk to you next week.